Hello there, welcome to In My Opinion for World's End Club. You play as Rachel, a kid who's the leader of the Go-Getters Club, which is a group your friends made up while in school who always look out for one another. During a field trip, the group notices a meteor hitting Tokyo, which causes an explosion, knocking everyone out. You and your friends wake up only to be forced to play a game. Later on, you find yourselves outside and notice something is not right, such as giant X's in the sky and no other people around. Now it's up to the Go-Getters to head back to Tokyo and find out what exactly is going on. I know I sound a bit scattered when describing the story, but that's only because it's hard to talk about it without spoiling it. And the story is a big part of the game. Though let me assure you that you're in for a great tale with plenty of twists and turns and a satisfying conclusion. I also felt the cast of characters were really likable and each of them do develop through the adventure of friendship and hardship. I can see some people finding them kinda tropey, as you got Mochan, the one who likes food, or Aniki, the loner tough one, and so on. But I don't think it takes anything away from them. It's kinda like watching an anime. While the story is what you'll be experiencing most, as there's a lot of talking and reading, there is of course some gameplay in this game. The best way to describe it is a 2D puzzle platformer. You'll take control of a certain character using their powers and jumping around figuring how to get by obstacles. You'll run into things like monsters, deadly drops, and some switch puzzles. There are some fun powers like Rachel having one beam throwing arm, or Mochan turning into a ball of steel, or Chuko's fire breath, or Nero dropping the F-bombs. I found most of these environmental puzzles pretty easy, and there's even some number puzzles, but these are simple as well. And if you get stuck, there's a hint system to help you out that doesn't punish you. The jumping is not the best around, but it's serviceable. I've heard some call it awful, but I think that's an over-exaggeration. You can die in one hit, be it by the environment like death pits or enemies attacking you. However, the game's checkpoint system is extremely generous, so you don't have to worry about losing a lot of your progress if a mistake happens. You also fight some bosses in some stages, and they ain't bad. You just gotta figure out how to hurt them with whoever's power you're using at the moment. I think the overall gameplay is fine, but I'm still disappointed by it because there could have easily been more to it. You're usually running around with more than one character, and before you ask, no, you don't have to worry about protecting them as they can't be hurt, thank God. When I first saw this, I thought, okay, cool, so they're presenting with a problem and I gotta figure out who to use. But nope, the game makes you use only one character at a time so you know who you're using and what ability as well. There was only one situation that actually used more than one power at a time, and it was rather fun trying to figure out how to get through. I just wanted more of that. I also would have liked if there was some system like combining the powers to get through a situation, like making a fire F-bomb or something like that. What's also kinda sad is these sections can be rather short as well, which is a shame. Now don't take this as me saying I had a bad time with these sections, as that's not true at all. If anything, I wanted more of it. There are points in the game that give you a choice of what to do, which will lead to a different branch. These are pretty simple, such as either going to Oita or Fukuoka with different groups of characters. The choices does change some dialogue, and you do get to see more development for certain characters, and their powers may even unlock at a different point. You don't have to worry about missing anything though, since no matter what, your first run is locked into getting the false ending, and after that happens, the game lets you play the other branches, which unlocks the true ending route. So it's not really about if you should take this route, but more when do you want to see this route. You don't have to sit through all the cutscenes and dialogue again, as you can just pick the spot that has the choice, and skip the dialogue you already heard. One of the things I do like is as you go along the story, the game still takes into consideration of which route you chose while getting to the end. For example, this is a scene which brings up when a certain character unlocked their powers, and depending on the route you took, they acknowledge that route instead of some default one. If there's a route you prefer the game to recognize, it's easy to do. Just pick the last section of a said route and skip the scene, and you can tell by the yellow line which route the game is going by. There are also some collectibles in the form of stickers you can get that's from Tatsun's favorite show, Electro Rangers. Most are red in your face, and when you happen to miss one, you can go back after beating the game at least one time. You also have camp spots during your playtime, and these are a tiny bit different from the story and act sections of the map, as it's downtime with the cast of characters, and you can choose to talk to them or not, though it's best to talk to them as it gives you more of their personality and helps develop them even more. The levels themselves are okay looking and do differ from one another, so at least it doesn't blend together. Also, the grunt enemy designs fall into that okay category too, with the bosses being more of a standout when it comes to designs. Now the game does a wonderful job with the designs for a cast of characters, and each has a unique look to make them stand out. They're bright, colorful, expressive, and are all around a joy to look at, which is a good thing since you'll be staring at them throughout the whole game. There's also a nice stylized choice during some cutscenes as it adds manga panels, making things a bit more exciting. Now since the story is a huge part of the game, and it's all voice, another category that needed to be nailed is the voice acting. And I gotta say, they hit the bullseye. The whole cast sounds fantastic and doesn't feel like they're phoning in a performance at all, with some scenes being pretty emotional and not going to lie had me misty-eyed. There's even a Go-Getters theme song which they sing in English, and they do a good job, and the song itself is kinda catchy. I even caught myself humming it a few times even when I wasn't playing the game. The game also has a Japanese voice track if you prefer that. Throughout my playthrough, I never experienced any major frame rate hiccups and never ran into any bugs either.
Yeah, I know that.
When you hear Kobe, what is the first thing you think of?
Kobe beef?
Portopia?
Mount Roko? Or Arima Hot Springs?
No! Wrong! Kobe is all about the Hoseki Theater Company!
Kansai said Hanshin Tigers. And Jenu said Hoseki Theater Company?
Yeah. That's right.
While the gameplay didn't leave me wanting more, I still had fun with it, and I had a great time going through the game's story with its likable cast of characters. It took me around 14 hours to fully complete the game, and when it comes to replay value, there ain't much here unless you miss some stickers. I can safely save it into anime and don't mind a game with a very heavy focus on the story, with one of the key themes being friendship, then it's worth becoming a member of the Go-Getters Club. I hope you enjoy my thoughts on this game, and for gamer's sake, keep gaming.